Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are thrilled that you've joined us today for the Gold Coast Band's musical adventure around the world in 80 minutes. We promise it'll feel a lot shorter than a flight to Europe. And we won't lose your luggage. Welcome. At this time, I'd like to welcome the pastor of this church, Pastor Amelie Ash.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. As she said, I'm the pastor of this church. We are blessed. Every Thursday night, this wonderful troupe gets together and practices and makes it just blossom into this courtyard. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, and have a wonderful show. You guys are such a blessing. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our talented artistic director and conductor, Miss Barbara Rubenstein. Please rise and join us in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. Written in 1899 and printed on the front cover of Sousa's original sheet music is a quote from a play by Frere. It goes like this: "A sudden thought strikes me. Let us swear an eternal friendship." According to Sousa himself, he discovered this quote at the end of the Spanish-American War and wrote "Hands Across the Sea" for all of America's friends abroad. So travelers, grab your boarding passes. Our ship is leaving port. All aboard! Brings us to the beautiful countryside of Ireland. The Irish folk song suite was composed in 1952 by Frank Erickson, who greatly expanded the concert band's repertoire with nearly 200 compositions. Join us in a local Irish pub. We'll share some mythical folklore or dance with the leprechauns as we present the third movement of Erickson's Irish folk song suite. May not be one of the best-known Russian composers, but his ballet, The Red Poppy, features music that's instantly recognizable. The setting is a Soviet ship docked in a Chinese seaport. The main theme begins with the lowest instrument, slow and cumbersome, depicting the sailors awkwardly attempting intricate dance moves. Through several variations of tempo and style, they eventually master the steps in a flourishing finish. Please enjoy the Russian Sailor's Dance. We are now going to take a bit of a detour as our travel becomes airborne. Please join me in welcoming to the podium the arranger and conductor of our next selection, Mr. Jim Sheldrake. Our featured vocalist, Donna Singer, is a graduate of the New York Academy of Theatrical Arts with additional studies at Juilliard. She has released 12 CDs and 8 singles that frequently reach the top of the Billboard charts, making her a distinguished voice in the jazz world. She is currently preparing for her spring 2026 musical excursion to the Netherlands and Belgium, and we are thrilled to have her travel with us today. Written in 1954 by cabaret pianist Bart Howard, the song, in other words, was first recorded by Kay Ballard. This beautiful melody went through many cover versions by popular singers of the day. When Peggy re-released the song and performed it on the Ed Sullivan Show, she convinced the composer, Howard, to change the name. Recognize this tune? Fly Me to the Moon. Over the next few years, recordings of this love song reached as high as number 3 on the Billboard charts. It just couldn't make its way to number 1, that is, until Quincy Jones got a hold of it. In Hungary, of all places. Well, though Johannes Brahms was German, as a teenager, he fell in love with Hungarian folk rhythms. He is often considered one of the greatest composers of the Romantic era. Originally written for 2 pianos, Hungarian Dance No. 5 is the most famous of his 21 Hungarian dances. Its minor key, energetic leaps and dramatic shifts make Hungarian Dance No. 5 one of the most irresistible toe tappers ever written. If your toes start moving, don't fight it. Brahms made this one impossible to sit still through. Following our next piece, we will have a brief 15-minute intermission. And now our final destination before our break is Italy, where we'll imagine the umbrella-like pines and the marvelous fountains of Rome that inspired the Italian composer Ottorino Respighi. Having studied composition with Rimsky-Korsakov in Russia, Respighi became known for his three-part symphonic suite, The Fountains of Rome, The Pines of Rome, and Roman Festivals. We will be performing the final movement of The Pines of Rome entitled The Pines of the Appian Way. It depicts the long, triumphant procession of an ancient Roman legion, and you will hear the ceaseless rhythm of unending footsteps and a continuous crescendo from beginning to end, building with intensity and drama as the soldiers proceed along the Appian Way, making their way to the Forum. Listen closely. I think I can hear them in the distance. us through the Eastern Hemisphere. And now we're heading west, south of the Rio Grande. Happens to be south of the Rio is a medley of Latin favorites, including Cielito Lindo, El Choclo, one of the world's most famous tangos, La Cucaracha, and El Relicario, to name a few. Have your maracas and castanets ready. It's time to dance! Oh! Did you know Africa is the only continent with land on all 4 hemispheres? How many of you knew that? Raise your hand. Sorry. African music is known for its strong percussive rhythms. To capture that energy, we've recruited some of our woodwind players to assist the percussion section with pans, blocks, claves, wind chimes, maracas, pencils, and even spoons. Together, they create the vibrant, layered rhythms of Africata. Now we travel to the southern hemisphere, to the beautiful continent of Australia. Picture the Great Barrier Reef, the deserts of the outback, and the lively coastal seaports as we frolic with kangaroos and koalas. Her folk song, Catalpa, tells of Irish prisoners escaped from jail with help from Americans aboard the whaling ship Catalpa. Its expressive melody captures the vast beauty and spirit of Australia. Please enjoy an Australian sea ballad. We've traveled through many countries and many musical styles, but of course, we couldn't reach every destination on our bucket list. So this next tune fills in the gaps. In music, a measure is a segment containing a number of beats. I'm stopping there, I'm not going any further with it. In Around the World in 80 Measures, we will visit 17 additional countries, beginning and ending in America. We confess, we like some places so much, we've added a few extra measures. Can you identify all 17 other countries? Fasten your seatbelts. It's the fastest world tour on record. And now, And now, we gratefully welcome our esteemed artistic director and conductor, Barbara Rubenstein, to speak with us again.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We hope that you are enjoying our musical journey around the world. I want to take this opportunity to thank Pastor Emily Ash and Kathy McDevitt, the church administrator, for planning this special concert for us today. We are so grateful to be able to rehearse here each week and be able to kick off our band's 49th season right here. We look forward to continued collaborations with the congregation. I also want to extend a huge thank you to Willie Drayton for all the help that he provides for us on a weekly basis. Thank you, Willie. Our band is partially funded by the Recreation and Parks Department of the City of Boynton Beach, and we greatly appreciate any support that we receive from the department, the mayor, and the city manager and commissioners. Let's have another round of applause for our featured vocalist, Donna Singer. Mr. Jim Sheldrake, arranger and guest conductor. I'd also like to recognize the band's board members who are identified in your program. Also Michelle Spott for ticket sales, thank you Michelle, and Mary Wilkie for the program's publicity flyers and music folder preparation. And what about these outstanding musicians? We hope that you will join us for our future concerts. Our next event will be our annual Sound of the Season concert on Sunday, December 14th at 3 o'clock. The information is in your program. It will be presented at our new performance venue at the Coral Lakes Communities Performance Theater. We're very excited about that. It will feature many of your favorite Christmas and Hanukkah tunes, and will again feature Donna with a brand new vocal arrangement. And we will also welcome the Robert Sharon Chorale to join us and perform with us as our special guests. Tickets are available online at our website and will be available also at the door. We hope to see all of you there. And now help me please to thank and welcome back to the podium our terrific announcer and tour guide for this afternoon, Ginny Marsh.
Well, thanks for that. I wanted to conclude our international excursion with a piece called Capriccio Espagnol by Rimsky-Korsakov. Written in 1887, it remains one of the masterworks of orchestration admired by composers such as Tchaikovsky and Respighi, whom we heard earlier. Originally a 5-movement orchestral suite, Capriccio Espagnol is based on Spanish folk melodies written by a Russian and arranged for a concert band by an American, proving that music is truly an international language. They are wonderful. I'm sorry to say that our journey has come to an end, and we hope you've enjoyed hearing music from places you have visited or would like to someday visit. But wait, the band has one more tune. Would you like to hear an encore? In the words of Dorothy, there's no place like home, featuring our piccolo soloists, Jennifer Mina and Wynn Schilling. Here is America's own Stars and Stripes Forever. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and have a safe trip home. We will see you in December, I hope.